Hi, I'm Brett Elliott, founder of Ultimate Natural Health and the Ultimate Herbal Detox, Ultimate Herbal Slim program. Today I'm here to talk to you about the Ultimate Natural Health program, and it's a herbal platform for long life. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the program and what the goals and the objectives are behind the actual program that we've put together, so I'll go into that in a bit more detail. First of all, the goals and results of the program. We've got double your energy levels. That's one thing that we can pretty much guarantee. You'll increase in energy and you'll feel a lot more lively. You can lose between 10 and 50 pounds or up to 20 kgs. This can be done. The average is between 10 and 15 pounds, but it does get up there. The longer you're on the program, the more weight you'll lose with it. Quitting bad habits. This is another big plus with the program. Because of the effect of the herbs and the detoxification and the food, you find it a lot easier to quit bad habits and change those habits into good habits. Improving intuition and clarity. This is a side bonus of doing a detox, is that you get clearer in mind and thought and body. Inner peace and happiness. This is also a result of becoming clearer in thought and clearer in your body. Reducing hundreds of minor health complaints. Now this is another fantastic thing about doing a detox, is your body is allowed to heal, and in that healing process you can resolve literally hundreds of different complaints, minor issues that might be niggling you and that might have been around for a lifetime. And the final goal of our entire program is to extend your life by up to 20 years. Now this can be proven statistically as well, that through different practices, but particularly through eating good food and using herbal medicines, that yes indeed people can extend their life by up to 20 years. Hopefully more. Now the multi-level healing side of things, you might want to go through this with me. Multi-level healing means physical, emotional, mental and spiritual. The different aspects of yourself, which include the energetic and non-physical levels. When you consider that 99.999 and more % of the material universe we live in is space. This space is not empty, it's full of energy. This adds another factor to the equation of ultimate health. The levels of energy include feelings and how they interact with your soul and spiritual health. Without addressing this level, you leave 99.999% of your long-term results up to chance. So let's mention it briefly here. The Ultimate Natural Health program is a great opportunity to become aware of the emotional connection with food and transform this into an emotional reconnection with your inner self. This change causes a shift in emotional eating habits and encourages a deeper connection with nature. So what it's all about is connecting with nature within your body and with those energetic levels that sustain life. So by doing this, we give ourselves a lot more potential to heal and to live longer. So instead of using food as a negative thing in our lives, which we often do, especially with things, drugs, alcohol and some junk foods, they can be used to in fact bury negative feelings and negative emotions and to push them back. And what that does is it pushes them back into ourselves energetically as well. So what we're doing by introducing the connection with nature is we're allowing the body to heal on all those other levels. I'll get off this subject soon, but I'd just like to go a little bit further before we get into the health product side of things about this. The scientific community, they still don't have an answer for what causes life to exist. There's still a complete unknown factor about how life came to be about in the universe. They can't explain how dust came to life. The religions, on the other hand, have known this for millennia. They've known it since the dawn of time. The Creator bestowed spirit upon the dust, and this is how life began. If we forget about the spirit, and if we forget about the life force, we become constantly hungry, constantly craving something. Without that connection, we're left empty. We're always looking for more, and eventually we become tired and depressed, and we turn to the wrong things. So our long-term approach is to tap into this life force and to encourage its abundance within our bodies. So how do we do this? Now we'll get into the physical side of things. How do we encourage this kind of change in our bodies? Your body began as a fetus, and the fetus was fed by the umbilical cord. So at birth, this cord replaced our digestive system, and our digestive system developed from this cord. This same function continues throughout life. Your body will grow completely from this digestive system. It's fed and nourished from this digestive system, and it grows from that. So what you are is what you eat, and this is a very commonly known term of phrase, that you are what you eat. And in fact, it's so true, and this is what we're going to get to here. Your small and large intestine are responsible for the absorption of nutrients. Not only that, but they're responsible for the elimination of waste. They have a real difficult job on their hands dealing with everything that's put into the body and sorting it out into useful products and waste products. This means your intestine basically functions like a finely tuned filter, separating and absorbing and eliminating toxins. A bit like an air cleaner and a petrol filter in a car, how they filter things out and they let only the good things through. If we overload our body with toxins, if we continually putting foods and processed foods and junk foods and poisons and drugs and all kinds of things into our body, what an extremely difficult job our body has. The intestine becomes clogged up and overloaded with waste. And eventually, it's like choking the engine. It starts to sputter and cough, and you get all kinds of effects that you wish you never had. So here's an interesting diagram which shows simple diffusion. We don't often realise that our bodies simply diffuse a lot of not only the gases that come in through our lungs, but also the food that goes into our intestine. It simply just passes across the membrane in the gut. So we've got to remember this. When you look at the intestine, it's really a very fine and delicate network. It's the most complicated system in the entire body. I don't think this is often realised. The gut is the most complicated system in our body, the process of digestion. So what we've got is a very fine membrane with very fine hair-like structure on it. And it's made that way so it's got a very, very large surface area. And if you spread it out, it'll cover 2 football fields. It's very, very huge. So your gut has a massive surface area for not only absorbing nutrients, but also for allowing poisons into your body. Now poisons will go into the body, again, just by simple diffusion. So you don't have to do a lot to poison yourself. And you know how quickly it can happen with certain drugs. So just to point out here, remember how large and complicated your intestine is and what a vital, important job it has in helping your body to grow and develop. It needs to be looked after with tender, loving care. So what do we do to poison our body? Well, often you don't think of the most common thing that we eat in our diet, which is wheat or flour. And it shouldn't be the most common thing we eat, but often it is, especially breads, pasta, pastries. Most refined products have wheat flour in them for the glutinous effect. And what gluten does is it binds things together, so it makes perfect donuts, perfect bread and cakes and buns. But what that binding effect does is it causes things to stick together. And so it'll do that in your intestine. And scientific studies have proven that people with celiac disease, which is gluten intolerance, they actually have the gluten molecule stuck inside their gut, and that's what's causing the problem. Another big thing is red meat. The human body is not really designed to digest red meat, even white meats. The carnivore that eats red meat, they have 10 times the acid content in their intestine than humans do. and also they eat their meat raw. So if we could eat our meat raw, then probably would digest a lot better, but even so, what it can do is accumulate in the gut undigested, and people have been found to have between 5 and 25 pounds of undigested red meat accumulated in their gut. So avoiding red meat can greatly improve your digestion. Parasites are another thing. We're all prone to allow parasites into our body either through the air we breathe, food that may be not cleaned properly, or meats that already contain some kind of parasite. There's over 100 different types of parasites. They can be microscopic, and the eggs can be in the air. So one thing to do to avoid parasites is obviously to eat less meat, but also to be very hygienic about your food and use herbs that are anti-parasitic, like garlic and chili peppers, cloves and that sort of thing. But with the detox program we will eliminate parasites from the body. Okay, dead food. What we've got here is this gentleman has been processing too much dead food, and this is the end result. So what we end up with dead food is dead people. And so what we want is live people. So live food is what we need to be allowing into our system. But also with most dead foods you've got a lot of preservatives, a lot of chemical additives, flavourings, flavour enhancers, colourings and artificial chemicals that have been added to these foods. So it's not just dead food, but it's poison as well. Other poisons and other toxins that we put into our body, very well known ones, pharmaceutical drugs. Now it's not often known that pharmaceutical drugs are responsible for more deaths than any disease known to mankind. In fact, it's the most common cause of death, and this is not often realised or publicised, certainly not publicised by the media. Simple things like Panadol, for example, can cause liver cancer. An overdose of paracetamol in children can actually cause liver failure and death. So very simple pharmaceutical drug avoidance is a good idea. Alcohol and cigarettes, those sorts of things are very toxic to the body, as we all know, but over time they do cause a lot of serious damage in the system. So the idea of the Herbal Detox and Slim program is to help you regain 100% of your energy back, and to heal the long-term damage these things have done, and to eliminate the toxins from your body. So what happens with toxic build-up over time? As you can see here, the combination of things, what we have here is the flour, the sugar, alcohol, fried food, meats, cheese, intestinal organisms becoming out of balance. Parasites may take hold of your system and you become overloaded. So eventually years of toxic build-up can accumulate in the body, and the body can become in a constant state of toxicity and toxemia, which is basically a state of being poisoned continuously. And this can cause a lot of serious health conditions over a period of years. So this is the kind of result that we can achieve with the Herbal Detox. What's showing here is what's come out of somebody's colon. And there can be impactions in the system that have built up over a period of time. There can be up to 20 kgs, up to 40 pounds in some people. And you'll know that generally by the size of the lower abdomen, how much build-up there is. And why is it continually there is because often there's a build-up that hasn't moved at all. And you'll find that matter's going through the body and being eliminated, and these people think that they've got a regular system, but in fact there could be a large build-up in there that's not moving at all. And that's what we need to get out. Some of us may have none of this. It's not everybody that has it, but for those of us that do, it's crucial that we get it out of the body because it can be very serious and cause very serious health problems. So just going back from the beginning and having a look how this can all string together and cause us the disease. First of all, we've got toxic build-up in the body. It's called poisoning. The toxicity affects the organs in the body and eventually dysfunction. Systems become overloaded, and so it's struggling day to day just to perform normal functions. Weight gain. Now weight gain is a sure sign of toxicity. The reason the body will put on weight, not just because there's been too much food consumed, but because the body's trying to store toxins and excess. The disease process sets in. Now you'll see these things that they kind of, one runs onto another, that with poisoning, toxicity, overload and weight gain, you'll start to get a disease process. Now most people, when they get to this stage, they've got high cholesterol, high blood pressure, blood sugar problems are starting, they're fatigued all the time, they're having other problems with their skin, or they're having hay fever and rashes and all kinds of disorders that shouldn't be happening at all. And early death. Now this comes about through a series of these processes happening over a period of many years, but early death means we die before we should by perhaps even up to 20 years. You know, most of us should live well into our 80s, into our 90s even, but what's happening, most of us dying in our 60s and 70s. So how are we dying? This is a really nice topic to be talking about at the moment, but we'll get through this and onto some good stuff. What's happening here, 60% of deaths occur from the three biggest killers: heart disease, cancer and diabetes. Would you believe it, diabetes is up there. Diabetes has become so abundant in our society because of the processed food, because of the wheat products, because of the high refined sugar product. And if you go around the supermarket and go up and down the aisles, you'll see the shelves are full of products that contain wheat and sugar. Obesity, it's at epidemic levels throughout the civilised world. The USA, the UK, Europe, Australasia and Asia. Obesity is at epidemic levels through all these countries. In fact, the most peculiar anomaly with obesity is it corresponds directly with the 66% of the population that are dying from these three biggest diseases. So I think you can relate it directly to the processed food, the escalation of all these things, of obesity, and the huge escalation in heart disease and cancer and diabetes especially, which is behind this problem. So this is what we need to do. We need to address these things and change our lifestyles to prevent it from happening. So what should we do? Our diet should consist mainly of fresh fruits and vegetables. And as you can see here, the colours, the abundance of colours. Now these things all come from nature, and what we need to do is get back to getting things as close to nature as we possibly can. By following the Ultimate Natural Health program, we're committing to changing our lives. And this is why the program gets such great results, is because we make the commitment and we start on a program and we commit to make these changes. And once we're on that program, it's so much easier to follow through, and we're not so tempted, or we don't find ourselves becoming so weak and going back to our old habits. So what we do with the program, we go into all these fresh fruits and vegetables. We feel light, we feel full of energy, we are invigorated, our body starts to cleanse and we feel our energy coming back. The three products we have in the program are the Ultimate Herbal Detox, the Ultimate Herbal Slim, and the Detox and Slim. That's the protein drink. Now these three products work together in conjunction with one another. We go from one to the other and we use the drink all the way through to get our results.
To try Brett Elliott's Ultimate Herbal Detox and Slim absolutely free, register today at brettelliott.com. It's the herbal protein drink that changes lives.